right, there we go.
Welcome to Been There, Watch That, your favorite movie and TV reviewers. Myself, Justin. I'm here with Joe and Dave, as always. Check us out on BeenThereWatchThat.com. Joe maintains that website. He puts all our past reviews on there and gives a little breakdown of what we thought of that movie. And if you could reach out to us on social media, if you want to have any recommendations, something you'd like us to review and cover on the show, just go Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, BTWT Pod. So stands for Been There, Watch That. Just type in BTWT Pod, and then you can follow us on there as well. We skip around a little bit. We do different eras, a little bit from the 90s. Some newer stuff lately. Last 3 or 4 have been later 2019 or 2014. This is episode 11. We're doing a newer one as well. This is I Am Mother on Netflix.
Yeah, this was a Netflix original, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it was some, Hilary Swank.
2-time Oscar Award winner, which I just read just now. That's
Big movie, big movie.
Big movie, but not with a big cast.
Yeah. All right. Give us the highlight, or not the highlights, but the
synopsis and
synopsis.
cast?
Yeah.
All right. So the synopsis is, in the wake of humanity's extinction, a teenage girl is raised by a robot designed to repopulate the Earth, but their unique bond is threatened when an inexplicable stranger arrives with alarming news. So, the cast, not a bit, like I said, not a big cast, and other than Hilary Swank, not a big who's who of the movie. Mother is actually played by Luke Hawker, and he's known for doing a lot, if not all, the special effects in Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. So he's a huge special effects person.
Oh, so yeah, he's the guy in the android suit, basically.
Yes.
Running around.
And Mother, the voice of Mother, is actually played by Rose. It's Byrne. So Rose, I apologize if I butcher your name. It's Byrne or Bjorn or. She actually played in Bridesmaids. Clara Ruggard is daughter, and Hilary Swank is woman. And if you're not familiar with Hilary Swank, she played in $1 Million Baby.
Oh, yeah. Which
Not
is
many
an
humans.
outstanding movie.
Not many humans in this. I mean, there's
Oh, gosh.
3 people. in the
3.
whole movie.
Yeah. This one's...
But there's a little baby at one point.
Okay, yeah, the
Yeah.
baby at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
On the credits, it was funny. He even got listed as an actor. It's like baby, and that everything is mother, daughter, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Nobody has a name. It's
Yeah. So Joe, give us the... Is that linked into the cast somehow?
What's that?
The baby?
Let me pull it up real quick.
I was just curious.
Well, I didn't get the baby because
Because it was listed as baby.
yeah, and there was no other roles
Yeah.
that that's
It's kind of crazy. Do you have the numbers on the costs and gross profit?
Let me get those as well.
I'll just send all this at you at once, by the way.
Yeah.
Make you do some very fast research.
Just for context, supposedly this little facility was designed to, in the event of humans, some sort of mass extinction event, there's all these chambers that hold little fetuses, and there's these machines that can create a baby, which can then be raised by an AI type, droid type mother figure.
Yeah,
Hence mother.
and does 9 months of gestation within 24 hours.
Right. It's like a little microwave timer going down.
Yeah. Okay,
But,
Jacob Nolan is brother, a.k.a. the baby.
Yeah.
And he comes in later. Basically, the android keeps telling the daughter, "Yeah, maybe you can have a brother someday." That basically we can stick a little thing in a machine and have a baby come out, and then you can have a brother.
Yeah, I gotta say, Justin, I owe you an apology because I always give you flack about these. I don't know if this is gonna be good or not, but here's my pick. I've given you flack about these, but I guess I'm going to have to quit doing that because so far you've done this, was it 2 or 3 times you've done this?
Well, I mean, I cheat a little bit. I go on and say other people's lists of these are good movies, so in some ways I'm taking their word for it. But it's hard to tell with reviews sometimes.
But so far, I mean, you haven't steered us down the wrong path. So I got to quit giving you such a hard time about going with these random movies that you haven't seen. because
Yeah.
honestly, I looked at the movie poster for it, and honestly, it did not look like something I would watch.
Right.
And then I watched the preview, and I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be good."
I think I should get into sci-fi a little bit more. I'd never really watched it.
Well, that's
but
like me.
I
That's
was kinda
not
into it. I liked it.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea either. But well, this was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I was a little worried on just looking at Rotten Tomatoes. It had a 74% audience score, which I mean, definitely not a bad score, but I wanted to see something a little higher. But I was like, you know what? Let's just go with it.
Yeah, it was. And then once you actually watch the movie, in my opinion, is kind of, when you watch the preview, you think you're going to go down this path, and then once you actually start watching the movie, it takes you down this path. That, I mean,
There were a lot of loops and interesting plot twists.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, spoiler alert for everyone out there. I mean, can't really talk about this movie and do it justice without giving some spoilers. But just the fact that in the beginning you see this little girl being raised, and then you realize later that she was put in an incinerator, basically, that the robot deemed her a failure, and that
Yeah.
her whole thing was try to create a perfect human. And when she
You know, and
met-
it's weird. I'm pretty sure in the beginning of the movie when they pops up one of the things, there are empty slots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little breadcrumbs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's one thing I did not catch. It's one of those, you see it,
Mhm.
but it doesn't click until afterward. Daughter is a teenager throughout the whole film. But if you guys remember at the beginning, it has that timer that says 0, and then it
Mhm.
says day 13,867.
Yeah.
I know, I pulled my phone up and did the calculator. I'm like, that's like 37 years old.
Yeah.
And so something was off. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. So now now it all makes sense of how daughter can be 13, 14, 15, and yet the timer says 38 years, because we
Yeah.
find out that mother has destroyed all the kids.
Previous trials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she keeps giving her these tests. Like, it's time for your exam.
Yeah. And this is very important.
She's doing these like little tests.
Doesn't matter if
Ethics
you're stressed.
and-
You got to take it.
Yeah, like personality tests. Just trying to. Yeah, because. Yeah, that the AI basically not having that like any qualms about destroying a kid if their goal in the end is to create a better world. Because at one point she said something like, far more people will thrive in the better world that we create than will be,
Yeah.
like, you gotta crack some eggs to make an omelet type of thing.
Yeah. And I was impressed with the robot itself, the way they designed the robot. I mean, it doesn't look like a clunky
Yeah.
robot. And it's funny, the eye of Mother is actually an homage to HAL 9000 of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. Some of the stuff didn't add up for me.
Okay, there were some things that didn't add up for me either, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I've got a big question mark about the ending. I'll have to pick your guys' brain on.
Okay. Let's wait on that.
Yeah.
Let's go through some inconsistencies in the movie.
Okay.
So, first off, I'll start off with this robot is so smart, but it can't apparently monitor like the breaching doors.
Yeah, you had to use the robot's fingerprint to get in all the critical areas, but the front door,
Yeah, and that was the funny part to me, is that and I know why now. I mean, the whole plot was set up for that. The robot Mother was controlling the whole situation, but I just thought the daughter didn't figure that out. I mean, the mother robot, I don't know if we should call it mother or robot, but either way, had, all these super senses and was tracking everything, and the
Yeah.
daughter couldn't put that together. That, she wouldn't know like where humans were and that their stuff was being recorded at all times. Just a little naive, I guess.
well,
But I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
one of the big things that I put a question mark on, of course, I just assumed it was government contractor.
Quality
So-
work by the lowest bidder.
Exactly. Bubble gum and duct tape.
Yeah.
So you have this huge facility
Yeah.
that does literally everything, but yet a single mouse can take down the entire power grid with
Yeah.
just chewing one wire.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, it's like, okay, really, you're expecting me to believe this? And as soon as I saw that, I was like, really, this is if this is where this movie's going to go, this is going to be dumb quick.
Yeah.
So a mouse chewed one wire and shut everything down. There's no redundant power lines coming in. And then, not only did it kill the power, but Mother didn't kick back in. You know, the batteries didn't kick back in. I know she was charging, but you can't tell me that
She'd have had some charge.
Yeah, that there would have been some charge that she would have automatically activated due to power failure. I was like, really?
Well, that kind of makes me think that the whole thing was staged from that point on. Like the mouse was supposed to chew it in so that the girl would get the hint that there's stuff living outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know animals sneak in here or there or whatever, but how does a mouse get into a facility like that?
Right.
Undetected?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I mean. The detection part of, you got such sophisticated technology in play here, but they can't detect a heat source or movement and know that, you know, there's a rodent in there. They don't have rodent traps. I mean, you know.
Just the fact that Mother has to even recharge it all is kind of, it seemed like that far advanced. You'd have a battery fully charged ready. You just stand there, it swaps out a new battery, you're good to go. You wouldn't need to like power down for the night. And that kind of just so that they could have that little suspense of like, oh, Mother's asleep, charging. Yeah. But
and even
she
charging,
need to charge every night like that. It's like
and be monitoring everything anyway from a central computer.
Even if you're charging, you still be monitoring stuff.
Right. Yeah, don't have to do a complete shutdown to charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, if this is where we're going to go, we're in trouble.
I agree, Joe. I think the droid itself looks really cool and pretty realistic. I mean,
yeah, they did a good job on that part.
Yeah, I like what I thought the coolest feature was the little bolt things on its mouth that actually, you know, tried to show that
smile.
It was smile. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That little touch was pretty cool.
Yeah, I looked at that though, and I was like, can you not put a LCD screen on there? I mean, really? You're that far advanced, and you can't do a little. I mean, cars have little screens that show everything.
Yeah, but
you know, you could have really put a human face on it.
Yeah, but I say it's going to go back to government contract again. It was cheaper to just put two bolts there that move versus putting an LCD screen.
I don't know about that. making two bolts move versus an LCD screen.
That daughter wouldn't be a little more messed up too, because they show her sometimes she's kind of like hugging this mother thing, but the thing's like metal. Like you have no real human touch your entire life.
It had some pads on it though.
Yeah, it had some soft spots, but still, I mean, it's basically just a hard surface that you're.
And what I thought was weird was how Mother talked about the outside. It's like, if she'd never been out there, why would Mother even bring it up to talk about it? It just, and I guess it may be something to do with eventually, you know, taking her out into the world.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the plot of she had to keep planting those seeds. Like the mouse, in my opinion, was a seed planted. Like, hey, wait a minute, let the daughter figure this out. Because the mother had to act resistant against it in order for this whole plot to play out.
But I just found it odd that you would talk about the outside, but yet she's never seen the outside.
Yeah, well, I assume they have cameras, too. That's the other part. The cameras never showed outside. Yeah, surely you got security cameras outside.
Right. Well, not necessarily if you've only got one electrical line coming in.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to have something. You got windows. I mean, it showed her she was letting light in a window every once in a while, otherwise everything was closed off. But, you know, security cameras for in case of a breach or an attack would be paramount.
Right.
Kind of crazy, but yeah.
I mean, for me, what I liked about it was just kind of stylistically some of the stuff that kind of sticks with you, like the lullaby that they're singing, and then it just kind of has this creepy vibe that kind of sticks with you after you've watched it. Like when you're looking back, or little things like the little kid's like, "Mom, why don't I have any brothers and sisters?" And she's like, "Well, I'm trying to be a better, like I'm practicing at being a mother."
Yeah.
Which at the time was just it seemed like an innocent thing. But then you realize like the whole dark side behind the whole thing.
Yeah, you just don't realize just how creepy that really is. And when Hillary Swank finally makes her way in, you know, to the daughter, that's her mother is her mother, so she doesn't know any better. And she's telling Hillary Swank, or she's telling woman, mother, you know, woman's telling her she's an android, she'll kill you, blah 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 blah, and daughter's going, no, mother's different, mother's caring, and mother won't do that, and
Right, because there's this idea that there's, well, like when Hillary Swank's character comes in, she's been shot and stuff, and the claim is that there's these droids on the outside that are like bad or evil droids, but then Mother's different. But then you find out later, she tells her, no, they're all the exact same droid. Like,
Yeah,
they
they're all
just have different
one
programs.
brain but different body parts.
yeah.
Yeah, but just that did kind of make me roll my eyes a little bit. Just, you know, that there's a facility so advanced, but they think they can like whisper and say something that's not going to be recorded.
Yeah.
And later, she's like, "Here's the recording. I heard you the whole time." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you can't just.
Yeah, when she was
Everything's being recorded in here. You can't
and when she
have
was
secrets."
Yeah, when she was whispering to her out to escape and all that, I thought that's not
not
going
gonna
anywhere.
go well,
She's
yeah.
recording it. She's going to hear it because the likelihood of them not having this recording device is slim to none, and Slim was leaving town. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess though, in the back of my mind, I kept saying though the daughter would not necessarily know that unless the mother let her in on that.
true.
So
Right,
if
we
the mother
know.
hid it well enough, then the
Yeah.
daughter would be naive to that.
If she's born and raised there,
Yeah.
she doesn't have the outside perspective that we do.
Yeah. The skepticism or the knowledge base.
And when I was watching, one thing I thought of was just this whole psychological setup of the daughter having no human contact ever, and the only communication or dealings you've had with is a machine your entire life, and you don't know anything else. So I'm thinking, you know, socially and psychologically, how that would impact a person that if
She had TV though. She was watching the like the Tonight Show with.
Johnny Carson, yeah.
She had her little iPad type thing. She was watching, seeing human faces and interaction virtually, but yeah, never in real life. But Hillary Swank's character comes in and she has this little book that she's been carrying around doing sketches of like people's faces and.
No,
The
that didn't make
daughters.
sense to me. What do you think that meant? I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that.
The sketchbook.
Yeah, she said these are
Well-
people in her village, but obviously,
Or people that they were hiding out in the mines, I guess.
yeah. What was that all about? Was there really people in the mines?
Well, where
Well,
would
she
the
said
mines be?
something that.
And where did they come from? And why is she living on a beach? Or is that just a story she
Yeah.
made up to try to entice the girl
Well,
to come
yeah.
out?
She implied that maybe they were there real at one point, but they'd all been killed at some point. And
Yeah.
then, once they get outside, she's like, yeah, there's no people. She kind of lures the girl out with like, oh yeah, you can meet these people, and the girl is like so starved. She wants to have an actual
yeah.
human interaction, but then she gets out there and no, they're not really around or whatever. you know.
Yeah.
But it seems like the droids were hunting them down and just killing them, but they let this one woman live. That was
Yeah,
a big
some-
twist
some-
at the end that I had to pick your guys' brains about because I did not quite understand.
Yeah, somehow this one woman kind of flew under the radar the whole time. Now here I have one other complaint.
Okay.
So when woman is in the hospital bed and she tries to kill the robot with a chunk of metal,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going, really? A cup of water will kill it. You don't try to stab a robot. You try to spray it with water.
Yeah, she'd already shot it
Yeah.
to no avail.
But so you're going to stab it and take care of it? I thought, no, you just start throwing water at it, and eventually it'll hit the right circuit board, and something will happen.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you know, the story, and I did like how the story plot didn't add up. There's enough plot twists that were viable until the very end. I like that aspect.
Yeah, and it went crazy
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Well, the whole idea of, in theory, AI could get so advanced that there would just be like this one huge computer brain running.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that
Everything.
hard to figure out. Joe
Well, I just-
networks every
I
day.
just
So,
thought that
you know.
was a neat twist as well, that you realize
Yeah.
Mother is just like this droid that could totally she could take the form of any droid. It's not just this one droid in this one place. She's
Right.
actually like
Controlling
pulling
the
the
bunch.
strings on like everything. That was kind of
And this movie's not unusual. You know, you got Short Circuit 2, you got Space Odyssey, you got all kinds of, you know, iRobot. It's all kinds of robot movies where robots have, they try to portray themselves as having, no, they don't try to portray, humans try to portray them as having human feelings, where this one doesn't do that.
Yes.
It is strictly, I'm a robot.
Yeah, it's purely analytical. There's no emotion involved.
Yeah. Which is
Well,
kind of crazy.
yeah. She says mother says at one point her whole goal is to like perfect humanity or like have. She basically tries to frame it as she wants the best for humans, and that in a robot's brain can get twisted into, well, the way you get the best for humans is to have this little facility and,
Yeah.
and kill off the ones that aren't good and then only have a world of good humans.
So, yeah, it was really weird on just from the pure analytical side. It's like no emotion, just it's either yes or no, black or white. So one thing I still don't understand is Justin brought it up where daughter was watching the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, and that's the only thing we ever see her watching on her tablet. Why that show and nothing else? Why
That's a
was
good
it-
point.
I mean, why wasn't she watching like reruns The Price is Right or anything like that? Or so, you know, of all things, why?
Or any teen shows from Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, don't get me wrong, Johnny Carson is great. I mean, the show was great.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not knocking the content that was shown on the tablet. I'm just saying, why that?
Well, she shows it to woman and ask her if she's ever seen it or something, and she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, a long time ago, which was a little weird too. Like, what time period are we talking?
Yeah.
At least it's like at least 30 some years after this mass extinction event. And Hilary Swank, she can't be more than like 45, 50 or
Yeah,
so. Where was she watching Johnny Carson?
yeah, watching reruns
Wonder,
of Johnny
but
Carson.
that kind of makes you wonder, was she, because it's revealed at the very end that she was a product of the same droid. Didn't the mother also raise Hilary Swank?
I kind of thought that, but then they acted detached. So I don't know, because Hilary Swank's character just kept saying, all the droids are bad. Doesn't matter, they're all bad. You know, and one of them shot her, obviously. But I mean, realistically, she's camped out on the beach within a day's walk. It's not like the 40 or 50 droids they had out front couldn't track her down.
Well, yeah, the mother comes into her little like shipping container house at the very end,
Yeah.
and kills her, basically saying, I don't need you anymore. You're like part of this plan."
Served your purpose, yeah.
That didn't you find it odd that you can't remember your mother, which made me wonder if she was also, I don't know. That was the big head scratcher for me. The very end. I was
Yeah,
like,
how she should have been from that facility as well, but not really, but maybe.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that. I just assumed like somehow she figured out a way to just fly under the radar
Yeah.
this whole time, that she actually survived whatever event went on out in the real world, that somehow she survived it. But that makes perfect
But
sense. That is one thing I never gave it a thought.
Yeah, Mother pretty much says, I mean, because Mother is like this brain that's in everything. She's like, don't you find it odd that you're the one that survived? So she like intentionally did not kill her when she was killing off all these other people.
Right.
Is what it seemed like to me. You know?
Yeah, she needed a carrot to
But
dangle for the daughter to do the final test.
But apparently she did figure out a way to fly under the radar, because Mother put that tracking device inside her bag.
Yeah, but I mean,
So I mean, she somehow figured out a way to fly under the radar of all the droids and all that.
I think it's purposeful. Mother needed her to set the trap for the daughter to give her the final test.
Really?
Yeah.
Mother was the droid, so if she wanted to, she could have let her slip right by. I think,
Yeah, yeah.
is what it was. And there was that drone type thing flying over, and she was like, "What's that? Are they after us?" And she's like, "If they were, they would have
Landed and
could have got us, but they didn't."
yeah. So that's kind of the crazy part.
Well, Australian film. Shout out to our Australian listeners out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, so this had a $5 million budget.
Really? Is
Yeah.
that what it was?
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it. Well, I mean, it only had
Yeah.
3 actors in it.
Like 3 locations, 3 actors.
Yeah.
They spent a lot on special effects then.
Oh yeah.
You know, it is kind of terrifying when a droid jumps up and starts running through a building. Like, it's like Terminator style.
Oh, yeah,
My
yeah.
mother jumps up. She's like, when the alarm goes off, that woman has made the breach and she's running through there. Like,
It's surprising though, because that seems like a risk. What if the lady had killed the kid? I mean, she's got a bunch more embryos, but
Well,
you know,
and-
the farther along the kid gets and passes the test, the more valuable she became.
Right. Mhm.
So I was impressed that mother let Hillary Swank get that close in contact. Because I mean, you just never know. But
Yeah, I gotta say it was really interesting. The more you watched, and the more twists and turns involved,
yeah,
and honestly, guys, I never gave that a thought. You guys bring an excellent point about the whole woman might have came out of that same facility. I never gave that a thought. I just assumed that somehow she survived the whole.
oh yeah, that was the tricky plot,
shoot.
and that was her sales pitch. You know, hey, there's more of us. There's a mine. You got to come with us.
Yeah,
She was explaining that she's like, "Who's this person?" She's like, "Oh, it's my brother," basically, because
Yeah,
his parents found me as an infant. So
Yep.
in theory, mother could have just raised a baby up until just and put it outside to be discovered, and then she's discovered by these other people in the mines and stuff.
could have, but I agree with you that the timing's off.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Swank was too old for that, right?
mm,
Because how long did it say?
about 30, almost 38 years.
Yeah, I
Around
mean,
38
Hillary
years.
Swank looks to be 40.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
So-
not. I don't know.
So maybe she was,
Maybe she's portrayed as a 25-year-old. I don't know.
or she might have been right on the cusp. Like she was, like she could have been like a beta test before they actually opened the facility up. Like she was like a
Yeah.
basically like a test tube baby or
Yeah,
whatever.
could have been. Yeah, before it all went down.
It was
Right.
just weird at the very end that the mother says, "Don't you find it strange that you don't remember your mother?" or something like
Mhm.
that. Which, but it wasn't totally clear. Yeah, just made me think maybe she was implying that that was the reason.
She was one of the subjects.
But one thing we
Yep.
never did figure out is what actually happened on the outside to cause all this.
Yeah, they didn't say.
Yeah.
And obviously, the dog and the lady survived out in that container for who knows how long.
Right. And I thought it was funny when she goes in her storage container. Of course, they had to run through a cornfield,
Yeah.
and when she gets her storage container, what she have cans of? Corn. So the way the movie
Kind of
ended.
crazy that she even had cans of food in there too. But I digress. Sorry, go ahead.
The way the movie ended, do you guys think that there could be a possibility that they can actually do a I Am Mother 2?
Well, it ends with Mother the droid basically saying, trusting the daughter to take over this facility.
Right.
But so,
Do you think she's gonna let her take it over?
well, not take it over, but for
I
now,
think
she's
she
going to
was-
bow out for now. But she's always going to be around. Obviously.
Well, I think she was just once she got the one, then you start on another one. You just keep because the girl, you think about at the end, she met the criteria to start the human race over again, and the criteria had to have been, selflessness, compassion. What I don't know what all would come into play there. Empathy, because she was super concerned. She came back for her brother, and I kind of think that's what sealed the deal. She was not willing to let brother, a human that she did not know, die or whatever she thought might happen.
Mm-hmm.
And where Hillary Swank's character was all about herself. See, she was selfish.
Because even though Mother technically died, Mother didn't really die because
Yeah,
although daughter shot quote unquote Mother,
yeah.
one of the other droids still went down and killed Hillary Swank.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, just because one,
Yeah, the body of it.
Yeah, the one body's dead, it's still not dead. So,
Yeah.
do you guys think?
Well, she says like, "Well, if you ever need me," and then she's like, "I won't," or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
in theory, she's going to let her
Job done. Yeah.
run the facility, and she was going to go do other things or whatever.
But do you think there was enough plot opening that they could do a sequel?
I'm sure they could if they really wanted to.
I mean, yeah, people make sequels of all kind of crap.
Well, I'm not saying they had. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But is there enough basis on this film to make a good sequel? I'm not saying just because they can. Just
Is there a good sequel?
yeah. Is there grounds for a good sequel?
Is there a good sequel? Tell me a good sequel. Lethal Weapon 2, I guess. 3 and 4. All right, never mind. So there are some good sequels. Okay. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Would you?
Just the idea of a repopulation facility is kind of maybe
Yeah.
something to work with, but as far as plot twists, you might have used them all up by now. at this point.
Because when I was thinking of to see how daughter and brother interact, because
Yeah,
now
what happens there?
Because now daughter's basically become mother.
Well, I think though, like the way I took it was daughter passed those tests, and if you don't pass the tests, you get
They get
sent.
rid of you.
Yeah, you get sent into the incinerator,
Right.
regardless. You know, because the jawbone she held up was obviously an older kid's jawbone.
Right.
So I think, you know, the daughter had learned that, and that was the turning point of, all right, now the daughter can take control.
Yeah, that was a huge plot twist, finding out that they just burned,
Yeah.
incinerated a kid.
The
that
crazy
caught me
part,
completely off guard.
yeah, and the crazy part to me is why turn it over to the daughter? Because the robot mother could continue to raise the little ones, and then turn them over to the daughter when they hit past the test, so to speak, to save the daughter from having to make that decision. I mean, that's the one part I didn't understand. I was like, why would a robot stop? And why wouldn't you have 3 or 4 going at once?
Right.
Well, my thought was why now at the age of 14, 15, 16 does
Yeah.
mother think that daughter is mature
Well, I
enough?
guess- Yeah, just
Yeah.
all those tests she was giving her constantly, I guess, just totally mining for every bit of data on, how you respond to all these different questions. She had all this stuff built up on her, but
Right.
which that was one thing, a little bit of a twist too, when you kind of assume, oh, she's gonna go take a test like she's gonna do regular like schoolwork, sort of. But then it kind of shows the screen at one point, and you realize like all these questioners are kind of just like personality
Yeah.
questions. They're not like history questions.
Knowledge
Yeah.
base. Yeah.
That's all just like seeing what kind of psychological profile you have.
And it makes sense now why mother kept,
Yeah, it's very
hounding her on
important.
it.
Yeah.
Get this done, get this done, get this done,
Well-
because it was just
And I don't know if you recall, but at one point she's like, man, I'm really stressed. Is this really the best time? Is this what we should be worried about? And mother's like, yes,
Yeah.
you have to take it now.
Now
Yeah.
I gotta take my test now.
Yeah. So
Yes.
now that she's under stress and duress, now you take a test. And that spells out to me it's not knowledge based. It's more personality.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a noob when it comes to sci-fi, and like you said, Dave, probably a lot of these sort of
Yeah.
similar themes are out there already in a lot of
Yeah.
older sci-fi. Droids taking over AI and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The Matrix, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I've watched The Matrix and I couldn't sit through it.
Really?
I liked it when I was younger. I think I tried to rewatch it at some point and couldn't, but
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing. When it came out, all these special effects, the room rotating. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, holy moly.
Okay. I Am Mother. Whew.
Yeah.
The review. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy because there's only 3 characters, so it's a little tricky in my mind. I mean, once you kind of play out the synopsis of what happened, why it happened, and how it ended, where do you go from there? Because, I mean,
Yeah.
the actors, there's only 2. Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not actors, but characters. There's only 2 characters.
Right.
Once you kind of cover the plot twist, you're kind of done. Yeah, I don't know.
I think-
Anything else we can bring to light here? That's the hard part.
Okay, so this was a Netflix original, meaning they
Yeah.
had a limited budget.
Yeah.
If a major motion picture company would have picked this script up, do you think they could have done it any better, or do you think Netflix kind of did their due justice on this one?
I think Netflix did a good job. I don't see how you could do any better. I mean, other than some little stuff, but I mean, the inconsistencies in the film were,
That could have just been. That could have been.
I think
dealt
it's
with any of them.
well, I just mean, like how's a mouse, like you guys said, how's a mouse get in there and shut everything down? To me, I think that's purposeful.
Yeah.
The mother robot let it happen or made it happen or, faked it, so that the girl would get the idea that there is something outside. So, or monitoring the doors and stuff like that. I think it's all purposeful. So, because at first I was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. And then when you see the ending plot and you think about it, you're like, yeah, okay. This was all a sales ploy.
Well, apparently that wasn't the first mouse that had gotten in the facility because daughter knew how to react to it. Because remember, she knew how to get a tube to lure the mouse out, then to trap it.
I thought she was just really smart.
Yeah, but even if you're smart, Dave, I mean...
Well, she'd had to have been educated on the aspects of nature and life.
But I just took it like this isn't the first time that she's had to deal with it. This is...
No, I took it as she's just super smart.
But I just assumed like the mice were like cockroaches. You just can't kill them. They survived whatever happened outside.
Maybe, but it led to, as soon as she caught it, she's like, why do we have to kill it? And Mother immediately killed it. So I think that was the first one, and she wanted to study it. And she's like, no, you can't get contaminated. But I was like, it's already ran all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, now that makes sense, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that led to her showing her where you burn stuff on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the girl got the idea, wait a minute, you burned the mouse, what else you burning? And then, wait a minute, there were more of me, so what would you do with them? You burn them.
Yeah.
So I think it was all played out in an intricate plot, so to speak, or a series of events that led to the conclusion.
Here's a question. Did either of you watch the trailer before you watched it?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
I just saw a review here. Somebody saying, "Don't watch the trailer; it gives it away." Did you find that or no?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, honestly, when I watched the trailer for it, like I said, I was expecting this, and I got that. Not saying it was good or bad, but I was led down one path, and I mean, it completely turned the table on me. Like halfway through the movie, it's like, oh, the trailer is great. Because I went back and after watching the movie, I went back and watched the trailer 4 or 5 times after that. I mean, I it's like, surely that I didn't watch it right, missed something, and boy, I didn't, and it was because sometimes the best part of a movie is the trailer, and the movie just
yeah, this is true.
Yeah, but this isn't it. I mean, it
kind
was
of opposite with this one.
The way I interpret it was like it took you completely down a different path than what the trailer showed you, but still it was a thrilling ride regardless.
Yeah, I thought the daughter character did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Hilary Swank as well.
Yeah, Hilary Swank in my book's quality. She's always had weird roles, but I think she's quality. The $1 Million Baby, if you haven't seen that one.
I have not seen that one.
It's been a while.
It's an inspiring movie that turns out to just be gut-wrenching.
Yeah, she's kind of, I remember her even in that movie, she's got kind of a rougher edge to her. Hilary Swank, she's not, definitely in this one, half the time she's shot or distressed or just kind of messed up for being a person that's been living out in the mines.
Yeah, she's a good drama actress. And I don't know that she plays any roles other than drama roles.
And I had to say, I was impressed with Claire's performance as daughter. I pulled up her IMDb, and she only has 7 credits on IMDb as an actress. So I mean, she doesn't have a long list of stuff she's played in, but she played it great. The role she did very well.
It kind of came to mind for me after watching it. Like, technically, it's an all-female cast. It's nothing that hits you over the head with saying like this is a movie that's all about women or anything necessarily, but in reality, that's what it is. It's, all the cast are women.
Yeah, until Baby at the end. Yeah,
Baby makes his little appearance.
Yeah, and I did find that interesting that when Mother came in and said, "Okay, daughter, it's time for you to pick a sibling," and literally you just see these little embryos, and it says male, female, and that's literally all you know about it. You don't know anything else than the gender.
Yeah, neat. Okay, yeah.
The reviews I've noticed they're not like people saying, "Oh, this is the greatest movie ever." I mean, IMDb like a 6.7 out
Yeah,
of 10, and then Rotten Tomatoes was 74% audience. So
I'm
nothing, no 90% or anything for this one.
but I'm wondering if it's because they are on. It's a Netflix original, so it doesn't have as many eyeballs on it as like a major motion picture. If that plays a role into where it's kind of more middle of the road review.
Yeah, I didn't completely rewatch it twice, but I did go back and watch certain parts twice. Like maybe the first 20 minutes I went and rewatched after seeing the whole thing through. Definitely some stuff that will fit in to make more sense when you go back and look at it a second time.
Yeah, I didn't rewatch it, but immediately as soon as I finished, I texted a buddy of mine that we always talk a lot of movies, and I immediately sent him a text that, "Hey, have you watched I Am Mother?" He said, "Never heard of it." I said, "On Netflix. It's a Netflix original. You'll like it." And it's actually it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 91%.
Really?
Yeah.
Have either of you seen Ex Machina?
No.
No.
That's just another sci-fi one that this one gets compared to a little bit. That's much older.
I always call that Ex Machina,
Yeah.
but that's because I can't spell or pronounce. Okay. Anything else we need to add into this, baby?
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
we hit the.
for a simple plot and a simple movie, this one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, if you're into sci-fi, I would think pretty much any sci-fi fan would get something out of this. They might not. They probably know way more about the genre than I do, so they might say, "Oh no, here's the classics. That one's okay." But yeah, all the reviews I'm reading, people are like, it's a similar, familiar sci-fi kind of world that they're living in, but it's got a lot more kind of unique themes and stuff going on that makes it stand out a little bit. It's a little different.
Yeah, I'm with you, Justin. This sci-fi is completely out of my wheelhouse, but this is definitely a rewatch. Worth definitely a rewatch. Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty, since I picked this one, you want me to go ahead and
Heck yeah, lay
reveal
it out there.
my
So
popcorn rating, as
Yep.
everyone knows, we do burnt popcorn for the worst of the worst, and small, medium, large, and
Yeah.
mop bucket. I don't think I've given a mop bucket yet, and
no way.
Really?
today's not going to be the day.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say
No.
decent movie,
No,
but
no.
man, not a
I
mop
do.
bucket,
I'm,
surely.
I'm a large though. I'll give it a large.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It was nice little
Well, what do you?
change
Yeah.
of pace for me. I don't watch these type of movies, and I really thought I didn't have too many complaints, and really enjoyed the plot twists and just the sci-fi-ness of it. The whole everything looking cool and machines and stuff. I enjoyed it. Large.
So if you're
popcorn.
basing it off of that, just to get a little more specific, is it because of the acting or just because of the premise, or is it because of the way the movie is made?
The storyline, the premise, the whole
premise.
idea of this repopulation facility, the plot twist, the acting I thought was good. I wouldn't say, mind blowing or anything, but yeah, just the whole theme and a little bit of creepiness of it that you get, like this mother that kind of appears to be trying to take care of babies, and then just the whole dark side to the AIs and the droids and stuff. I thought was pretty cool.
Okay. Well, Joe, you want me to go or you want to go?
Go ahead, sir.
I'm tempted to say large, but I mean, I wouldn't watch it again. So in my mind, a large would be something I'd watch again. So I'm going to say medium and a half, overflowing medium.
Okay.
And it doesn't have anything to do with anything other than this isn't really my cup of tea for movies. I mean, it's okay. It's got a good plot. I watched it without any problem. The actresses did a fantastic job. The premise is good. Once you've kind of seen it and you know the plot, the mystery's gone. And to me, a large or overflowing's got to be something you'd watch more than once. And I wouldn't watch this again.
Yep.
Even though, and I say that with the idea of this was a good movie, but one time, you know the plot, you know what's happening, you know the premise. Why would you watch it again? And even though, that's kind of how you know everything, but it didn't stir any emotion in me that says, man, that was so outstanding, I got to watch it again. So
Right.
I'm going to say overflowing medium. Joe, that leaves you, buddy.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's a
Actually,
good criteria too. The large you would rewatch it, and for me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to rewatch it anytime soon. But a year from now,
If it came
if
on,
there
you
was a
might.
friend that was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Yeah, let's watch this." I might.
I'm going to give it a large. And I'm going in the opposite direction of Dave. On the rewatch standpoint, I would rewatch it just to catch what I missed the first time around. Like the 13,000 plus days.
Yeah,
That
just to
never-
catch those little.
Yeah, catches little nuances
Tidbits.
and see what else. Be able to piece it together the second time around and pay a little more closer detail. It's like, okay, it's because the stuff we've talked about now that we have question marks on, going
Yeah.
back on rewatch, it's like, okay, now this makes more sense now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this is the storyline was great, and like I said, this genre of movies is completely out of my wheelhouse. This is sci-fi is typically something I don't normally watch, and the storyline intrigued me. Like I said, it got a little quirky there at the beginning. I was going, okay, I had some hesitations
Yeah.
when I started seeing where this path was going to go, but then it finally straightened out, kept me engaged, kept me entertained, and that's a big one.
Had some explosions for you and some shooting.
No, I was
yeah.
gonna say I didn't see any explosions.
Or throwing some stuff.
Okay, okay,
Guns
Stuff got
and some
broken.
guns, yeah.
okay. Oh yeah, okay. So property did get destroyed.
Yeah.
So, because I was getting ready to call you out on that day, it was like, okay, Dave. Now where's these so-called explosions that I can't watch a movie without having explosions on?
Yeah.
But overall, great movie, and like I said, I recommend it to my buddy Mike to watch. So if it gets a referral to me, from me, it's
Yeah.
definitely a watch. So large
Okay.
popcorn all the way.
Nice. All right.
Great
well, not
pick,
too
Justin.
bad. Not too bad.
If I do have one little criticism, it does seem like sometimes things just kind of conveniently happen to move the plot along. But didn't ruin it for me or anything. But just like you guys mentioned, some of the little things that didn't quite add up. That was a little bit of a letdown on some of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, by design though, maybe.
yeah, maybe.
So anyway,
Yeah.
okay, interesting stuff. All right. Well, man, what show is this? 11? Podcast 11?
I think so.
By golly.
Yeah, who's got the next pick?
I got the next pick.
Oh, okay.
Woohoo! But I'm not going to reveal it. It's going to be a reveal next week.
Well, now you
Do
do
we-
realize that you have to at least reveal to Justin and I, right?
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, I'm not going to reveal it during this show, so you'll have to tune in for show number 12 to see what the movie was. And mainly that's just because I want to discuss it with you two. I really like last time kind of letting you two choose between two that I narrowed it down just to see what everybody felt like. Because, and my whole basis is, and nobody would know this necessarily unless they're catching our shows real time, is that we've had a really snowy week, which I think this movie lent into. You know, you're kind of cooped up at home. You know, we had some snow days, ice and snow, and not being outside weather. So this kind of this movie was enclosed in the capsule or the facility. I kind of felt the same way, and I could relate to it. I was like, yeah, I've been cooped up forever.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because it's cold outside, so we was going to be watching Cool Runnings.
yeah. But no, I was just saying the movie kind of matched the mood of the week. Where now today the sun's out. Yesterday was a nice day,
Yep.
so maybe we need a brighter movie. I don't know. So
I like
that
where your head's at. I like
It's not
that.
going to be Frozen, is it?
no,
Okay,
no,
good.
no. So we'll kind of run some options by you two and see what everybody feels like watching this week. So.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's nice and sunny outside, I don't know if you'd want to go inside and watch I Am Mother.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't match the movie.
I mean, it could if you're watching it at night and stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't know. See what everybody's mood is, and I got a couple options for you to kind of feel out, and then we'll go a direction. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, take us out of here. Joe, you got to go over all the stuff.
All right. So for all of our reviews, be sure to visit our website at beentherewatchthat.com or subscribe to our podcast at we are on everywhere: Spotify, Google, Apple, anywhere and everywhere. Hosted by Anchor.fm. Just look for Been There, Watch That, or follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at BTWT Pod.
Nice. Okay. And that's it. Show number 11 in the books as we close out. Make sure you join us. Again, thank you, Justin, Joe, and myself here. So everybody have a great week, and we'll be back next week with, you guessed it, another movie to review.